Hi, I'm Oliver. Welcome to my smart home journey. Today I will show you how you can connect to any remote server quickly and securely using SSH and SSH keys. If you run any server, smart home related or not, you usually store it in some remote place and you don't always have direct access and often no keyboard or monitor connected to it. For example, my Magic Mirror is running on a Pi 0, hidden inside the mirror with no easy way of accessing it. The solution to this problem is called SSH. The Secure Shell Protocol allows you to get encrypted remote access to a shell or a terminal on any server. This way you have the same access as with the keyboard connected directly to the machine. To connect via SSH you need two things: an SSH server software installed on the server which is reachable via the network, and an SSH client on your local machine. Let's start by enabling SSH on a Raspberry Pi, which is quite often used in DIY smart homes. You can enable SSH on the Pi right away when installing the operating system. If you use the Raspberry Pi Imager software, you can click on the gear item that shows up after you select the operating system. Here you can set a checkbox which enables SSH. By default, access is secured only by password, but you can change this to use SSH keys instead. More on that later. If you want to enable SSH for a Pi that is already running, then go to the console and type sudo raspi-config to open the settings menu. Go to option 3, interface options, and then select SSH. Choose yes to enable SSH and click OK on the following dialog. You might need to reboot once, but SSH should now be available. If you run some other system, like a Ubuntu server for example, you can of course also set up SSH. If it was not already done as part of the installation process, you can run sudo apt install OpenSSH-server to install the SSH server. Next, run sudo systemcontrol status SSH to check if it is actually running. If not, then a sudo systemcontrol start SSH should help. Now let's actually connect to the server. On Mac OS or Linux, you can just use the command line and type SSH space username and server name. But if you use Windows or just prefer a graphical interface, I will show you how to use a small program called Putty to use as SSH client here. Open the program and go to the Sessions tab. In the hostname field, just enter the username, an @ sign, and the server name or IP address. Make sure SSH and port 22 are selected and click Open to connect to the server. Using the Saved Sessions widget below, you can provide a name and save your current settings. This makes it easier to reload them the next time. Now the problem with this approach is that you need to enter your password every time you connect to the server. This can get quite annoying and might also be a security risk if your password is not strong enough. Fortunately, there's a more secure and even easier solution: SSH keys. You can generate a pair of private and public keys that you can use instead of passwords. The public key can be shared with others and will be used to identify you. The private key is only for you and can be used to log in. On Windows, you can use a small program that is delivered with Putty called PuttyGen to generate these keys. Open the program and click the Generate button to get started. Now move the mouse in a random way to help the program generate truly random keys. Once it's done, you can add a comment to this key to make it easier to recognize the key later. You can also set an additional password for even more security, but that is optional. Now you can use the Save Public Key and Save Private Key buttons to generate two .pkk files that you should safely store. Lastly, copy the public key as shown at the top of the window because we will need that in the next step. To make the server use these SSH keys, we need to copy the public key to the server. To do this, connect to it using SSH and your password and go to your user's home directory. Then create a new folder called .ssh. In my case, it already exists. Next, create a file in this folder called authorized_keys and open it. This is where you need to paste the content from the PuttyGen program. Then save the file and reboot. Okay, so now let's finally connect to the server using the keys. Once again, open Putty, load or enter your hostname, but then go to Connections, SSH, Auth, and Credentials, and select your private key file from earlier. Then click Open, and you should now see a terminal running on your server without having to type any password. This has been a very short tutorial designed to quickly help you set up a secure connection to your smart home server. If you're looking for more content regarding smart home and DIY, then make sure to follow this channel and head over to my blog at thesmarthomejourney.com for more detailed written content. See you next time.